Christmas 2024 Full Display Tour. Before we go around and take a look at all the decorations and lights, I want to underscore the electrical connection because this is a major improvement over the way it was last year and all previous years here. Every year I try to improve or expand upon at least one aspect of the display, and this year it was the electrical. Last year the way everything was plugged in was a complete and total atrocity. This tree alone was plugged into 4 different outlets all over the house on 4 different runs. It was just terrible. 100-foot plus extension cords running all over the place through the floor. Completely ridiculous. So this year I changed the air conditioner outlet from a 20 amp to a 30 amp 4-wire, and so now in the winter time I have, well, it's technically 60 amps of 120, but since the 120 outlets only go to 20 amps, we're limited to 40 amps. But I have 40 amps of power right here, controlled by this one switch. Whole tree on and off with the flip of one switch, and all plugged into one, well, technically 2 circuits. And we have all 12 gauge extension cords, and everything here is now up to spec. Nothing heats up, nothing is overloaded. It's so much better. It's easier to use, it's safer, and this is the way it should have been in the first place. And in the this is the living room. In the kitchen, I added a 20 amp 220 volt outlet here, which will be dual purpose because in the summertime you can use it for the air conditioners. So now we have a total of 40 amps here, 20 amps here, and then or no, 40 amps here, and then the 20 amps here. And so it's the same thing as before. 2 switches, everything is on and everything is off. Nothing's overloaded, nothing heats up, super easy to use. This was a pretty expensive project because this required 10.3, and the living room setup required 8.3, which is an extremely expensive piece of wire. But I think that it probably has already paid for itself, because now it's easy to turn the lights on and off. For instance, here in the living room, this is a 33.6 amp draw alone with this tree. If I leave the room for any reason, I turn it off. If I'm going to go use the bathroom, I turn it off. It's 10 minutes, it's not operating. Go take a shower, I turn everything off. It's 15 minutes, nothing's operating. And these little periods of time where the stuff is turned off is making a huge difference, because when you're talking this much electricity, it literally is like 15-20 bucks an hour to run this. And this year the light bill for the beginning of December, the first 3 weeks, was only $630 something compared to over $1,500 last year. And that's with the rates having doubled since last year. The actual kilowatts per hour usage is about a third, a little less than a third actually, of what it was, I think, last year. And that's all because now I can just quickly turn it off if I'm not actually in here looking at it. Whereas before it was such a joke, because you had to go all over the house and plug in 4 different cords just for this one tree. I just left it on all the time because it was so ridiculous. But this is great, major improvement. And same thing with the outside lights. If I'm not in the front of the house looking at them, I shut them off. It's kind of a shame because now people going by don't get to see them as much. But until, or if the electrical, or I should say, if or until the electrical rates come down, this is how we're going to have to operate it, because otherwise it's just not sustainable. or well, add another condition. If or until the electrical rates come down, or if or until the ad revenue rates go back up. I don't know why this is, but this year the ad revenue is about half of what it usually is. Starting in like the first week in November, it just randomly cut in half, and it's kind of just been on a slow decline ever since, which is not typical. That's actually the exact opposite of what it historically does this time of year. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I've adjusted the operation of the lights to fit that, and that's what we're stuck with for this year. What the heck was that? What was that? Oh, it was this. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay. You know, when I first started this video, I said I better go over and take a picture of the lights on my neighbor's house, because he doesn't keep them on very late. And as I was setting up the camera, and in fact it might have even been as I was started filming this, he turned off his lights. Go figure. I'll try to get a picture of it tomorrow. There's a lot over there this year. I helped him put it up, but now it's off. So anyways, let's begin the tour. So we'll start over here. When you first walk in, this is what the room looks like. Got the candle here. I've been asked about this candle a couple times, and I can't remember. I had meant to film it. Actually, I was going to put it into a video of all the blow molds together, and I know I recorded half of that video because I was going to show at night and during the day, and I think I recorded at night, but I never did the section during the day. Well, this is what it looked like. This is a very common model. This was purchased in my lifetime. I remember buying this at, I'm going to say Lowe's or the Home Depot, probably within the last 15 years. But these have been pretty much unchanged for decades. For some reason, these have become very expensive, both new and used. It has an 11-watt incandescent bulb in there, and it's just the right brightness. No flicker, nothing weird about the coloring, not blinding, just right. And we got a bunch of miscellaneous things over here, which, you know, you really can't see it. What I was going to do this year, and I didn't have enough time, is I was going to get some video of it during the day, and then you know, follow up with the video at night, but such did not happen. So we'll just look at it with a torch. So I just got some ornaments here. This is supposed to be like that. Giant pine cone. Here's the village, the living room village. Couple new pieces this year. Got the Hard Rock Cafe, and I think that's it. Most of these are from that Grander Noel village set. Beautiful fiber optic houses. I've never seen another set like this. underneath the village, we have some gumdrops. I think I'm going to try to put brighter bulbs in some of these next year. The purple in particular and the blue are kind of dim. These are new this year, and I got a couple other things, but not much new this year. There just wasn't the budget for it. I had to keep all the whatever ad revenue was left to buy the electricity. There's the village from the back. Curiously, this one is 3D and has lights all around it. None of the other ones do. Got our reindeer pillow. C75 pillow. And then C22. These are, I wouldn't really call these pillows, but they're plushes, I guess. Some more lights. And then next to the couch we have a pretty realistic artificial tree with vintage mini lights, and we have the Holidays in Motion, which I still have to try to get an adapter for this. I did order the extra pieces and I got the dog and I got the trees I needed, so that's now complete. And we got our two dogs over here. A nativity, some Christmas logs, and a Christmas candle. And we have the Luminara candles in all the windows around the entire room, which looks absolutely fantastic. That was an expensive investment from, I think, last year, and it was well worth it. On the table, we have the sledding, whatever the heck it is, pine cones, which I guess we should look at from this angle, a little bit brighter. This year I put some garland with clear C9s up on the shelf there. I think last year I had some boxes of vintage Christmas lights. Decided to do this year instead. I think it looks a little nicer. I'll find somewhere else to display the vintage Christmas lights. Here's a giant bubble light. I kind of want to get a few more of those and put them all, and maybe two of them here, a couple here, and like all around the room, but that might be a little bit overkill. Christmas dogs. Here we have the penguin blow mold and the mouse blow mold, both from the Home Depot, with blaring obnoxious DEL bulbs. On this table we have the candles with the little wreaths, with those orange and yellow flame bulbs. This is not going to focus that close. We have some vintage plastic holly wreath thing here with some Doris tiny lights and a Luminara candle. This is one of my favorite pieces. Always particularly like this. Little candle here with some plastic garland, not garland, another plastic wreath with holly and bells. I gotta get the flashlight again. And there's what the little wreath looks like on the candle. And here's a better look at these molds. And I have these little ducks here as well. Christmas countdowns, which I never set properly. A live Christmas tree here. This is another one of my favorite pieces. I've always just particularly liked this. Very simple, just greenery with mini lights, but it looks really nice. Little candle there to light up the Christmas counter that I never set up. Got twinkling mini lights here on this Dracania fragrance. Gosh. Got a wreath up here. This is a different wreath than the one I used last year, I think. This one's a little bigger. It's pre-lit, so the lights are a little more full and neat. And then we have the GE, or whatever the brand is, I'm not sure what brand these are, C6 classic lights. Or C6 replica lights rather, going around the door. And I have some poinsettias here. Probably should show a picture of the village with the light on it too. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna make a note to do the daytime clip next year for sure. Here's the poinsettias. They are live and real. And then we have this, I guess it's a Santa with a tree and a lamppost. This was something I fixed this year. Had to relamp the whole string of lights there. I like this piece. That's what it looks like. And we got another one of those flame tip bulbs in there. And here's the Christmas dinner table. I'm going to finish setting this up, but this is what it's going to look like. So there's the living room. Oh, I forgot about the garland up here too. And I was going to replace this before Christmas, but I didn't get to it, so this year we'll have the Antigua. Which, now that I have the light on there, I actually think it looks really nice in here. I like it much better with the light. Another thing I improved, which I made a note of last year, was to hang the icicles in a view of the window on this side of the house as opposed to going up the peak. And this does look way better with it like this, because now around the entire room, wherever there's window, you have the icicles. duh, I forgot to talk about the tree here. Yep, it's late at night. So this year I used 24 strings of incandescent C9 transparent colored, or I guess these would be translucent colored lights from the Home Accents holiday brand at the Home Depot. That's a total of 4,032 watts, I think, just over 4,000 watts, and 33.6 amps. It's a power factor of 1, so you can figure out the wattage if you're really curious of the exact number. I think it's 4,036. But this is just unreal. I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen anybody else decorate a tree like this. My mother gets a live tree and she puts a lot of lights on it as well, but they're only the mini lights. It's not like this. Absolutely beautiful. A nice tree this year, very good shape to it. When you deal with these live trees, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes the trunk is crooked, or certain branches don't grow this consistent with the rest of it. This one's really pretty nice, and you can't prune them because otherwise it starts dripping sap everywhere. So it is whatever it is. But this looks really nice. All the way around to it's pretty good. And this stands 11 feet tall. "24 strings of warm, flicker-free, inviting, beautiful light." No LED can replace this. It just can't. As we come into the kitchen, you're going to hear this punch bowl rattling every time I move around. Here's what the dining room looks like. We have a string of twinkling C9s around the door. These are my grandfather's lights. These are very old. I found these twinkling bulbs. I bought them new this year. The string originally had just a handful of twinkling bulbs left, and I bought a whole box of 25, and I put all twinkling lights in there, and it was too much. It looked like a freak show. So I find that like one every other or every 2 slots is the balance that makes it look nice but not overbearing. Retrieved this from the old location. I didn't have that the last couple years. And then I got this blow mold new this year. This is a candy cane. This is more like a traditional one where the whole thing is lit up, as opposed to those over there which have the just a couple DEL bulbs in them. This is how they're supposed to be. And this one's almost correct. It should have had one more light over there. But it still looks pretty good. Got a little dog digging through the presents under here. Christmas tree carpet. And we have this tree again. This is a DEL tree, and it's actually quite nice. Blends in with my incandescent stuff just fine. You can tell it's not incandescent lights like those, but it looks pretty good. It's got these little rice lights on them. This is one of very few pre-lit DEL trees that I find satisfactory. And this is getting kind of old by today's standards. I think this is the 5th season I've used this. And that's pretty good. No problems with it whatsoever. And the C9s continue. These are, this is another string from my grandfather. Many of these bulbs are still the originals. This is an original blue bulb. He always put the rubber gaskets on there, so this was one of the ones that was used outside on the deck. That's an original bulb, that's an original bulb. That one's original. This one's original. There's a couple of, yeah, this one is an original GE branded bulb. There's a couple of Westinghouse ones as well. Yeah, here we go. This is an old Westinghouse one. That's very old. And this one's original, 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 and original. So quite a few of these are still going. These are the replacements I bought this year. What a joke. I mean, this bulb has literally been outside for probably 50 seasons. It still works. It still looks brand new. And this has been indoors for 3 days. And look at that. The paint is just such terrible quality on this. What a shame. Like an insult to the string to even put that in there. Now look at this bulb. Perfect still. Not a scratch on it after all these years. None of the original bulbs have scratches or paint loss anywhere. Some of the original bulbs were yellow, like this one. And I ordered a box of 25 yellow bulbs a couple of years ago. And this year I just put them in. This is one of the replacements. This one is much better quality than that one is. I think I might have grabbed that from one of those couple dollar strings from Lowe's. Although these two, this one and this one, are particularly bad. They're not all like that. I don't know why those two are so bad. This is a replacement bulb and it's pretty reasonable. But anyway, so I put these yellow bulbs in every couple, maybe 4 or 5. I like those yellow bulbs. I don't know why I don't have them anymore. None of the strings that I have them. Oh, here's, what is this one, a G? Yep. Another original GE bulb. Is it Westinghouse? I can't see it. No, it's GE. There's those vintage C9s. And then we have the a candle here. The giant DELs, which are actually incandescent, which is kind of funny. This is new this year. I got this when I got that candy cane. And this one's not a full glow mold like the candy cane is, but it's got enough lights on there that it looks pretty full. I thought it would go well with my candy village, and it looks nice over here. Below this village I have the C2 million bulbs. Another rendition of these is for sale this year at the Home Depot, and the bases are extremely realistic, but they're only offered in red and green, and the bulb itself I don't think is anywhere near as bright as these are. These are pretty old. These have got to be 7 or 8 years old by now. And then here's this village. I gotta do some repair on this. There's actually a video series of this that goes way back. where I was trying to fix it. And I think that I still have parts 2 and 3 that I just never uploaded because it was so boring and drawn out. I got this tree above the village. I had this in the hallway, but I moved it out here because I liked it so much. It reminds me of a Christmas cookie. I don't know why, that's kind of psychotic, but that's the way it is. And then on the table, we have this tree here with these battery operated incandescent lights and another candle. And that punch bowl is a vintage Crown Point punch bowl that we've been using for Christmas dinner for a long time. It cost, it's so old that it only cost $6.99 at Bradley's, which is a store that I remember going to in my lifetime, but I think it's been gone for probably at least 20 years probably now. It's been gone for a long time. The only thing I really remember about the store was it had red 2554s throughout the store, and it had huge air conditioning and heating registers on the ceiling that were also red, those big round ones. So there's a dining room. Moving into the kitchen, we have a live Christmas tree, which is for some reason growing totally crooked and about to tip over, with a string of incandescent mini lights that are twinkling. And the dog, vintage power bar, or I guess that's a power cube. And then we have this here, which I forgot to turn on. I always forget to turn something on as I do this. I haven't gotten around to fixing this yet. It just fixed itself. I think that's something. On the table here we've got this tree, which has the same style lights as that tree, and neither trees flicker, so that one over there must have a full bridge rectifier with good smoothing capacitors, and those lights must be running off of DC because there is no flicker whatsoever. Alright, this is annoying. Let me turn this off. And these of course don't flicker either because they're running on batteries. Well, actually, you know what? That's not an of course statement, because I have LED flashlights that run on batteries that flicker, so this is not flickering, period. I don't know why. It's just not. I guess it's designed properly. On the counter we have these Christmas tree night lights. I have one in each outlet here. This one's blocked by the ticker towels. Got two over there by the stove. And this year I put my giant bubble lights here. They are bubbling. These are not regular bubble lights. These are probably about twice the size of regular ones. I gotta fix that one to pull one out. But I would really like to find another string of these. These have probably got to be about 20 years old, maybe 15 to 20 years old. I remember getting these, and they were pretty expensive, at some random Christmas shop that we had gone to. Never saw them before, never seen another set since. They're very cool. And then over here we have some greenery with a pine cone. I particularly like this as well. Around the window we have twinkling C7s, and for whatever reason, maybe the flickering pattern is different, or not flickering, twinkling. Maybe the twinkle duration is different, but in this string, every single bulb is a twinkling bulb, and unlike with the C9 set, this doesn't look like a freak show to me at all. And these are also bulbs I bought new this year. There's only a few of the originals remaining. These two are original, and this one's original, and I think that that's it. This one's original as well, and this one, and the rest are replacements. These replacement ones have very nice coloring to them. It's very deep and vivid, but still warm, nice incandescent glow. I think this was the wreath I used in the living room last year. The one that's in there now is a much better fit, much larger. I've got some Luminara candles in the windows. And these C9s will lead us down the hallway to a giant ornament. Another Christmas tree nightlight. And in this banner thing, I originally had that tree above the village right here, but I wanted to see it more often, so I moved it into the kitchen. On the other side of the hallway, we have a giant snowflake with a fly in it. Huh, that's kind of weird for the winter time. Okay, you never know what you're going to find around here. Giant snowflake, and then some C9s around the doors. Here in the media room, we have two wreaths in the windows. These are really nice wreaths. The garland has like a sheen to it. Looks like it's got a coating of ice. And with the white mini lights, looks really great. And then around the window and the doors, we have the General Electric C6 Classics replica. This is a brand new string. This is the first year it's been out of the box. These lights are in mint condition. They're so nice. The colors are vivid. The lenses are clear. Hopefully they'll stay that way, because these are never going to go outside. I really started to take a liking to these lights last year, and I found a few more strings over the summer, and I hope to find some more, because I really enjoy these. Really nice lights. And I got a string of white ones on this tree here. This is an old white pine replica tree. And then over here we have a fiber optics tree. This one has exceptionally vivid colors. And then we have this candy themed gingerbread house, as if there's any other type of gingerbread house out there. Oh, good grief. I haven't got that plugged up yet. I just didn't finish this room. But that's okay, I'll do it next year. Very simple in here, and sometimes these simple displays are nice, because you can really just appreciate the couple things that are in here. There's something about just a couple strings in a small tree. It's such an inviting and peaceful atmosphere. Same thing to be said about the bathroom. Just one simple tree with mini lights. It's so nice. And the mini lights have been taking a lot of hate this year, and I think it's kind of uncalled for. Yes, they're not as reliable as C7s and C9s, but if you handle them correctly and particularly keep them dry, they're generally okay. And even this year, I only had, I think, 3 strings go bad. The 2 deer, and then also outdoors, the one of those like C15 strings went bad, and I still don't quite understand what was wrong with that. But I believe that all the indoor stuff worked properly from last year. No issues from last year to this year with the mini lights that were indoors. I also added a Christmas shower curtain this year. All the dogs with Christmas lights. And then this has been there since last year. I never took it down. I think this year I'll remember to take it down because I've got some other things in here. In the bedroom, which I forgot to turn the lights on. Also very simple. We have a little tree here with some of those Dyrus mini lights. And there's something about just one little tree that I really enjoy. I remember my grandfather used to put a little tree, probably about this size, in his bedroom when we would go over there for Christmas dinner. We used to put all the jackets in the bedroom, and he'd have that tree in there. And it was the only thing on in that tree, just the window candles in that tree. I just remember that tree very vividly. And it had a string of very old, faded, colored mini lights, kind of like what's in the bathroom. And around the windows, I have these lights. These are, look more like fall lights than Christmas lights. They are silicone lights. So I guess they're supposed to look like a flame tip or something. They're pretty cool. Not sure I'll use these for Christmas though next year. There's nothing really Christmassy about it. They're like really cool lights, but they just don't look like Christmas. And then I have this fiber optic tree. I was going to put lights on that Christmas, or that tree there, I just never got to it. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the bedroom besides for sleeping, so I didn't feel like it was worth putting a lot of stuff in here, but maybe in the future years when I have more time, I'll do more in here. I didn't get to a bunch of stuff this year because I sucked up a lot of time dealing with that electrical situation, but that was 100% worth doing and needed to be done. I'm glad I did that. You can see the deck lights from here. Those look really nice. The C9s on the deck. All the icicles. Well, this isn't really a Christmas decoration, but this is Christmas as well. And here in the computer room, it's a flickering freak show in here. I want to do more in here next year. I finally got this room cleaned up and I've actually been using the computer in here a lot. So next year I'll do more in here. We've got the lights around the door. The old GE Christmas tree, which has got to be at least almost 13, 14 years old now. And it's still working properly. These are allegedly C6 replicas, or actually they might be C3s. It's a very similar texture, if you will, on here as those GE C6 replicas. Yeah, actually I think these are C3s. The coloring's not bad, but they don't illuminate the tree. There's a lot of dark spots in the tree and they're definitely a little flickery. This wreath just looks horrible, but it's got some nostalgia to it because the use of these lights during the early 2010s, flickering cold DEL light. For whatever it's worth, these aren't bad. I kind of like these. These don't flicker too bad, and the coloring is decent. The brightness is decent for DEL anyways. I should have had it going all the way over. That would look nice. Another fiber optics tree. And then I got a bunch of these, I think they were called, you can't even see them. I think they were called Jingle Pals from Hallmark. We had this one back in the earlier mid 2000s. We got this one, and I'm pretty sure this is the original instance. I know I found one or two others since then, but we've had one of these for a very long time. And then this year I got this one. It's a little dog on there. Looks like my dog. And this I found a couple years ago. I really like this one. I think this one's my favorite. I'd like to find every single year of these. I think what happened was every year Hallmark would come out with a different design, and they ran for, I want to say, at least 15 years. Well, these two are definitely my the most sought after ones, and I've got those now. And then we've got some more Christmas tree things over here. And then we have this candle, which I did not turn on. Probably can't without it flying off the windowsill. Let's see, will it fly off the windowsill? No, it didn't. This is one of the ones that my grandparents used to use at their house before they got the 5 candelabra ones. It's got the flicker flame bulbs in it. And this stinking window is all blurry. So even though there's a nice view of the outside lights here, it's kind of ruined because the stinking window is all blurry. Maybe someday I'll be able to replace the window, but you can see the outside lights, just not clearly. Alright, now we'll go downstairs and take a look at the lights in the studio. I'm going to turn this off because I want to measure the current draw of everything. Alright, here's the lights in the studio. Bunch of C9s. 3 strings of C9s. And a piece of garland. And a little tree there. Real simple. Just to have something in here. We'll do something better in here next year. And then over in the cleaning area, I do have one little tree set up. Just a little, like 15-inch tall maybe, white pine tree with some lights. Let's take a look at the lights in the garage. It's getting cold in here. What is it? 52. I haven't had the heater on because I don't have enough power to run the heater and all the lights at the same time. This is what the garage looked like. These wreaths are really nice, but unfortunately they were stored in an area that floods, and so I was told that they have a little bit of a musty smell to them. Hopefully they'll air out and stop smelling, but for now they're kind of just stuck in the garage here. There's a spiral tree. Had this for a while now. One of the things I found earlier on when I started to go to a lot of tag sales. Needs some maintenance. We got a bunch of bulbs going out here. And this is a string of, I think, two strings of 300 mini lights going around the ceiling. And a tree with, I think, just one string of C9s, and then a second string carries it over to the outlet. Alright, so that's all the lights inside. I'm going to put a bunch of jackets on and change the camera battery, and we'll see if I can get through the filming of the outside lights in one shot. Alright, here we go. Let's freeze. Alright, so this year I had much more electricity available, so I did expand the oh wow, it's cold out here. I did expand the outside display a little bit. We got mini lights on the small decorative bushes here in the front, as well as over here. And then this year I used the opaque or painted C9s on all the larger bushes. I remember from last year making note to do that, and I do like it much better this way. Put a singular C9 bulb there to turn off that street light when the lights come on, so that the lights don't get washed out. What the heck was that? We got C9s going up the railing and around the door. icicles and transparent or translucent colored C9s on the front. Of course, you can see nicely into the room here, get the view of the tree and the candles and everything. This is not good. There's some ice patches on the stairs here. It's kind of dangerous. Oh man, there's a failure. This broke. Well, this is a problem. Can I get these out? See, the ground is frozen now. I can't get these. Oh, perfect. It fixed itself. Now the ground is frozen. I can't get the deer out for service, and I can't take any of these lights out for service. But fortunately, that must have just been a bad connection that was fixed by messing with that. Okay, here's these. Hopefully I can keep the camera steady. I'm going to start shivering in a few minutes probably. This is an old string of mini lights. The colors are very faded. And this is a new one. Colors are still pretty vivid. Kind of see the wreath a little bit. I should put a second string of lights on the back of it. See twinkling lights in there too. Had a lot of wind the last couple of days. It messed up the flag. Got C9s on the door and the railing, and icicles on the front. And that street light, I have it switched, so I just turned it off from the inside. Oh, we have another breakdown. I'll hit this with the Lightkeeper Pro and see if I can repair that. Oh, here's the problem. The bulb is shattered. I don't think you can see that, but the bulb is just going. The base is still there, but it's all shattered. Probably a stinking squirrel ate it or something. That actually is a problem that we used to have a lot years ago at the first location. Not so much at the old location, and not so much here, but maybe it's starting. Oh, there's a second bulb that was shattered here. You know what? This actually might have happened in the wind. There's two bulbs shattered. That's kind of unusual. The squirrels typically eat the wires. I bet it was the wind that broke the bulbs. This year I put the icicles on this side of the house as well. Lights all around the fence. I used the translucent colored C9s on here because I like these better in certain situations where, like on a live tree for instance. That's why I have them on the tree in the house. And on here, like this shines on the tree and it brings out this texture of the bark, whereas the painted lights don't really do that as much. All 3 deer are still working. No bulbs burned out. Has some C50s here. More frosted C9s. You know, I have to say everything fared pretty good in the wind. A couple of things like this are falling down, but for the most part, everything still looks decent. Sometimes the wind really wrecks the display. Got some candy canes here. That's the front yard. And now the side yard. This was my biggest concern in terms of the wind damage, but it looks like this tree fared perfectly and nothing fell. This is all flickering DEL over here in the side yard. In conjunction with our stupid DEL streetlight. With the red and white lights on most of these tree trunks. And those icicles being not up on the peak looks perfectly fine from the outside. That was my concern, is it was going to look weird from the outside, but looks totally fine. our Christmas mat that I picked up on bulk pickup week from the curb. C9s all around the railing, incandescent. This thing doesn't seem to be working too good anymore. What's up with that? Oh, this is all icy too. Good. This one's working properly. These are incandescent mini lights all along the fence. It ends up being 2 strings of 300, a string of 100, and a string of 50. And that's why, I don't know if this is picking up on the video, but the brightness changes over here because it goes from a string of 300 to a string of 100. The strings of 100 have higher amperage bulbs, they burn a little brighter. 2 strings of C9 back here. Looks like these took a good beating in the wind. A few of them burned out. I don't know if it picks up on the video or not, but that laser thing does put little specks of light all in the trees back here. Right here is where it switches to the string of 100 and it gets brighter. A lot of people stop to enjoy the lights. Oh, there's some kind of unidentified animal running around in the backyard here, so that's my cue to get the heck inside because I don't want to deal with that in case it's a skunk. I am frozen. So there is the Christmas display for Christmas 2024. The entire display is turned on right now. I've turned off the garage heat, I turned off the studio heat, So the only thing that's turned on besides the Christmas lights would be the wood stove, which I think pulls about 2.5 amps for the fans. There's a couple miscellaneous ceiling fans still on, and perhaps the refrigerator is running, and my networking equipment. Probably less than 15 amps total consumption from anything other than the Christmas lights. So let's see what we got here. Okay, I just dropped the meter in the washing machine. That's great. We'll go over to the amps, and we're going to measure amps. On the first leg, it is 48.7, and on the second leg, it is 81, which is not ideal because this is only 100 amp service, so in theory 80 is the maximum that we should really be drawing. So we're actually, I mean, it's safe, we're at that range, but that doesn't leave me any room to turn anything else on. So 80 plus 49, I think it was 47 before, so let's say 50 plus 80, 50, let's see, 80, 90, 100, 130 amps, and we'll minus 10 for the other miscellaneous things. 120 amps will be our approximately our final number for the entire display. It's a lot of power.